Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 34 of the show with no name. I'm your humble host, Nick, and today we're going to be exploring another abandoned farmhouse out here in the desert. I like to call this house Mansion House. Let's take a look. Beginning this odyssey, walking up the stairs here, as you can see, to the second floor. The interesting thing about this farmhouse is just how huge it was. It's probably the biggest abandoned farmhouse I've run across so far. There's actually 3 stories to this house. And here we are on the second story in one of the bedrooms here. Checking out that awesome window. As you can see, this house is pretty messy because it's a little bit older. They made it with the sticks and plaster, and well, the plaster is starting to fall off the walls and ceilings, so you're going to start seeing a bigger and bigger mess on the floor as the years progress. This house was just so huge. I wonder if one family lived in it, or multiple families, or what. Because whoever built this house definitely had a little bit of money back in the day. Always got to get the good roof shots whenever I can. This house has definitely seen better days, but it's surprisingly solid for a stick and plaster house, which lets me know that it was built really well, too. And here we are entering another one of the bedrooms on the second level. It's boarded up, so it looks a little darker. I really like these old pioneer bedrooms up here at this house. And every bedroom got 2 windows instead of 1. That's something else I noticed right off the bat. Wow, everybody got extra windows in this house. I also noticed the vents on the top of the doors. They used to use those because it could get really hot up here in the summertime. And that helped air circulate around. And this right here is another one of them interesting rooms. It's not a bedroom, but it's just like a lounging area for the upstairs, maybe. And that could have possibly been a really nice window right there back in the day. I bet you it just looked incredible up here when it was first built. Couple things that really threw me off about this house, though. The first one being I couldn't get to the 3rd level. I looked everywhere up here on the 2nd floor, and I could not find a way to get upstairs there. And I know there's an extra room or 2 upstairs. I can see the windows from the outside, but I have no idea how to get up there. Here we are in the 3rd or 4th bedroom up here, and this was the only room that I was pretty iffy about walking on the floors. The floor here is not in good shape because water's starting to get in through the roof, and it's starting to get into this room, as you can see, because the ceiling is not in good shape, and I'm starting to see holes up there. So this will definitely be the first room that you can't walk in soon. up here in this house, and that'll be really sad when that day comes. Just can't say enough about how big this house was for an old farmhouse like this. I bet you it was the envy of the community when this was first built back in the day. Something else I like about these bedrooms up here is just how unique each one of them are. Every bedroom's just a little bit different, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Well, with this house in general, it's just yet again another random layout. You never know what you're going to get at these houses. It's always a surprise every time. They were so much more creative back in the day when they were building houses, I think. Now it's more generic and there's so many codes and so on and so forth. But back in these days, they just came up with something and put it together that made every house so unique. And it's something that I definitely miss about home building. Now we're heading downstairs towards the back door. It's definitely seen better days. Those stairs were solid too, by the way. Still in really good shape, considering the situation that this house is in. I've always been kind of fascinated with those sticks and plaster. It would be really cool to see somebody come in and put that plaster on the walls back in the day. The process of it all is pretty interesting to me. And here we are downstairs, and this downstairs was just awesome. The whole layout and design of it. And in spite of some of the windows being boarded up, it's still really bright down here. And I can imagine how nice it looked on a beautiful sunny day out here back in the day. I imagine this family living here, and to me it seems like they had a decent amount of wealth, so I bet you this house was decorated really nicely too. I bet you it just looked so nice when it was first built and people were living in here. Such beautiful windows here in the living room. They just emphasized windows so much back in these times. I can't stress enough about how important windows were to these farmers back in the day. The electrical grid wasn't quite like it is now. And I believe this house was on gas for a while until it finally converted into electricity at a later time. Such a pretty view out there. I wish I can find more history on this house and see what the people that used to live in here looked like. And here we are in one of the downstairs bedrooms. There's a lot of bedrooms in this house. A big family lived here, or families. I'm still not denying the possibility that multiple families could have lived in this house. You can see the plaster falling off the ceilings and the walls. It's really sad how the plaster and stick build starts to disintegrate over time. And it hastens everything, because once that plaster falls onto the ground and then it gets wet, it starts causing the floorboards to swell up, and then they start getting loose and breaking as well. And it's just a really fast process compared to the board and fabric build of later times. That third floor is going to haunt me forever, though. I'm going to have to come back here someday and try to figure out how they got up there. I don't know if there's a hidden room or somewhere they used to get to it from outside or what, but there is a way to get up there somehow. And this was the other question that I had too about this house, because I could clearly see that this was the bathroom back in the day. You can see the water hookups and a sink and a broken toilet and whatnot, and it's just such a small bathroom, and it was the only bathroom I could find in the house, and I just can't imagine, with the amount of people that lived in this house, that they all were able to use and share one bathroom. There must have been fights every morning before school, trying to go in there and get ready. So that threw me off too. I figured there'd be at least 2 bathrooms in this house. Well, that's it for Mansion House. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos and the pictures. Thank you.